Good morning everybody, Elanie Beckett again. I'm my Soul Yoga Veda, and I've been speaking for the past 8 days. I've been speaking about health and nutrition, getting our health back, and just starting to get into a bit of a routine that we have more control over our health, over our kids' health, boosting our immunity, and just generally staying sane. You'll have seen me on the Change Creator SA page, where Elanie Beckett is running a regular feature over these 21 days of lockdown, and because of response we'll probably carry on with that. But please follow us there on Change Creator SA, where you can learn how to deal with these 21 days of lockdown, as well as get some brilliant relationship advice to just keep from strangling each other in these close confinements. Alright, so today I want to speak to you about an aspect of health that isn't always covered as thoroughly as it should be. When we think health, we're always thinking nutrition, we're thinking exercise, we're thinking lifestyle. But it's sort of a topic that's not really discussed very openly, is our mental health. And in the lifestyle that we're living, in our fast-paced, especially here in the Western world, mental health is a very underplayed and downplayed issue, and it's much more serious than we realize. Yes, we can take control of our mental health and support it through certain choices that we make in our lifestyle, our diet, and exercise choices, but it's not really discussed how we can create long-term solutions to really just keep our minds in balance. And a big part of Ayurveda, which is what I do, is creating a holistic lifestyle for us to be able to stay mentally balanced as well as physically. So as I've been promising you guys, I want to speak to you about a little trick that I accidentally came across a couple of years ago, and that is called, you might have heard it, called minimalism. So please don't switch off and run away and think that you're not willing to make these changes. Hear me out. It's actually much easier than you think. So I'll start by telling you guys our story, my and my family's story, and how we sort of inadvertently became minimalists. We got an opportunity to go and support a company in India last year, and we had to make a very, very quick decision whether or not we were going to go over. Now, we were living in a massive 2-story mansion on the beach, close to the beach in Belito, white house with a deck and a pool and palm trees, living the life that everybody thinks that now you've made it. We had all our pets, and we had the furniture, and we had all the appliances you could possibly dream of, and life was very comfortable. We had a very comfortable life. But when we came across, or when this opportunity was offered to us to do what we're passionate about, which is helping people, which is making a difference to other people's lives and helping people reach their own unique dreams, we saw that as an opportunity that we couldn't pass up. Now, because the company that my husband has is Change Creator SA, that's what we do. We help people create change. And for us to lead a company such as Change Creator, we have had to practice making changes and creating changes on a scale that could keep up with what other people are dealing with. Because if you don't get it, how are you going to teach it? We can understand change, but if you don't, it's like understanding a joke versus getting a joke. If you haven't lived it, if you haven't been there, you're never going to be able to give it to other people to get on a level that works in their unique lives. So that's what we did. We went over to India on invitation in the middle of February, I think it was, for two weeks. And we made the decision, right, we'll go over, we'll pack up and leave. But the catch was that the guy who offered us the opportunity said that we had 2 weeks to make the decision. He would provide the visas and the flights and the accommodation and the whole works and everything, but we had to have an answer ready by the time we left India, and we had to be ready to go over within 2 weeks. Now you must know the kids are at home with Granny, having the time of their lives. Life's carrying on. Granny's taking them to school. Nobody has any idea of this massive decision that's hanging over us. But when we went back home, the decision had been made, because we knew that was where we were needed. So that meant within 2 weeks we had to pack up our life. We had to sell what we could and give the rest away. We decided that we're going to go over for 5 years, so we didn't want to go and leave our stuff in storage and it's just going to go rotten, and by the time we come back we open a container with its own ecosystem 5 years later. So we decided to just release everything. And if you've ever been in that situation, you'll understand what it feels like. But until you've been there, you can't understand. And that made me really understand the relationship that we have with our possessions. Me with my beautiful cushy life and house, I didn't know where to start packing. I didn't know what I wanted to take. Knowing that we're not even going to take our pillows with us, let alone blankets or bedding or appliances or anything, you literally don't know what to start letting go first. And the short version and the long and the short of it is that I realized through the process of releasing my things one thing at a time, that the things that you think are important in your life really aren't. The things that you value because they make your life comfortable. I am an appliance junkie. I love appliances. I love my bread machine and my air fryer and my bread toaster. I love my appliances, my food processor, because I love cooking. And those were the things I thought would be the hardest. But you know what was the most difficult and most heartbreaking thing for me to release? Was a blanket. And I never thought of it. I had a jewelry box that I'd inherited, and I had beautiful things. And the more I let go, the easier it became. But when we started with the big things. All right, we know we have to find the best buyers for the things that are going to be hard to sell. The lounge suite and the fridge and the washing machine, the big things. But when it comes to the little things, that's when you realize what you value. And my most treasured possessions turned out to be a couple of books, a couple of crystals, and a blanket that my mother had bought for me when I was 14 years old. And those most treasured things I ended up taking to family members 2,000 kilometers away to keep for me. And now, a year later, the way that situations have changed, even those things, it's highly unlikely that I'll ever see it again. And I'm okay with it now. So what I want to bring to you today is the lesson that I learned from that. And what I learned is that when you start thinking about releasing your things, you realize how trapped you are by your possessions. Before we go away for a weekend, we lock everything up tight, and we have in the back of our minds, oh, what if someone breaks into my house? Did I put my valuables in the safe? Should I take my laptop with me? What if someone steals it? When we go out in our fancy clothes and our 2,000 rand boots, are we thinking, oh, what if I get mugged? What if someone relieves me of my beautiful, expensive handbag? That's how we become trapped by our possessions. We're not in the moment because our mind is with our stuff at home. When I'm driving my fancy car, oh, what if someone bumps into me? What if a trolley crashes into me? What if I bash my taillight out when I reverse? Realizing that this car is as temporary as the seasons. They break. Things break. The beautiful set of glasses that I buy today, 2 visits with my friends later, 4 of the glasses have broken. Yet we are so entrapped by our possessions that we have an emotional connection with them. And we don't know where to start to let go, and it feels terrifying. But once those things are gone, it's a feeling of freedom that's very hard to put into words. When our mind is less cluttered by the stuff that we're holding on to, it creates more space for thoughts to flow into creativity, into new ideas, into creation. Because I like thinking that our minds have a limited amount of space, which is, you can take it for any way that you want to interpret it. But if we have a mind, which is a container, if it's cluttered with stuff, there's no space for new ideas. There's no space to create new things. Whereas if I take something out that I'm not using, there's a void, and the universe abhors a void. It will always send something to fill that void, be it an idea to create something new, or be it something that is more useful in your life to create a better existence for you, to be more valuable, to be more true to yourself, and to grow into this wonderful being that you're supposed to be. So what I want to ask you today to just consider, let's go on a 21-day decluttering journey. Let's make some space in our heads by making space in our lives. And it's much easier than you think. And you know what, you can do this process probably in 3 to 5 days. But I want to do it over 21 days so that it really is a journey. We've all got the time. We're sitting in our houses and probably getting driven nuts by the chaos. If you've got kids, oh my goodness, the womb gremlins are loose. And it's insane how 2 such small human beings can create so much chaos out of things you didn't even know you had. There's stuff coming out of cupboards that we'd forgotten we had, that we've never used. That was my experience when I started packing up my life and packing up my house to go to India. It all starts with day 1, which is today. And your only task for today is to make a decision. Your decision will be, Am I going to look at the possibility of decluttering and creating some space? We're bored, we're sitting at our houses with nothing better to do, we're starting to get antsy and we're starting to get snappy. Let's use our time, we've got this time. Today you don't even have to do anything, you don't have to pack up a single thing, but it needs to be a decision. We all have these sorts of, I should do this, or I should throw out that, or I should clean this, but should you, there's no power in should. You can even change it to, I must do this, I must still do that. There's very little power even in must. But the moment you say, I will, your power comes from the commitment of the word will. I will, I am. Who am I? What am I? What are you owning? And what will you do? What can you commit to? On Change Creator, Stanley always speaks about if the motivation to change is greater than the resistance to change, then change will naturally take place. So today I want to invite you to just analyze, what are you resistant to? Are you resistant to releasing clutter because you are sentimental about it? Or because it's effort? Or because you don't know where else to go with it? Or because you're attaching a monetary value? Oh, I don't want to throw this away because I can sell it, but you just never get to that. What is your resistance and why are you clinging to stuff? So have that conversation with yourself today. And what will you receive and what will you have once you are not tied down by your attachments to physical material stuff? And if you feel ready that you want to embark on this journey or even just observe the journey, come with and come and just see what we're up to, even if you don't participate. But learn something. It's really a journey to behold, and it's a decision away. So for today, your only job is, all of you, your job is to make a decision. Yes, I want to participate. Yes, I want to follow and observe, or no, this is not something that I'm interested in at all, and then move on and let it go. But make the decision. And the big discussion is, what will you gain by creating space in your life? If there's space, what can come in? What can I invite in that's going to make my life better? And I promise you, it always comes. When there's a void, something else always fills it. That person that left your life, there's a person who's going to be more beneficial, for lack of a better word. There's somebody who's going to be a better part of your journey the moment you lose somebody. When you let go of a piece of clothing, it's because something that fits better or feels better is on its way. When you release a tool or a vehicle or even a home, it's because there's a better space, a better tool out there waiting to fill that void. So I look forward to seeing you a little bit later today. I'm going to do something in my kitchen. With this wonderful rainy weather, we're just going to make a wonderful bean soup. South African, very popular dish, boentjies. So I'm going to do that with the kiddies and with the whole family tonight. And now on the Change Creator SA page, you can go and see Stanley when he will be talking to us about relationships. Thank you for joining me.